ULTI.TV.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Eastern Region Ultimate Championships for New South Wales. My name is John Daniel Clinton, and I am joined by the inimitable and evergreen John Greenfield. It's the last game of the day, mate. I'm a little bit tired. How are you?
I'm going really well, Dan. This has actually been an awesome day to be playing Ultimate. Yes, there's been a couple of rainstorms, but it's been beautiful, and we're still going right here.
Well, we're off. We're going to watch Branch of the Bench Ultimate Club play against Ironbark. And we're going to see a turnover straight out of the gate.
Yeah, just floated that. The wind is coming towards the camera here, and he just floated that swing pass up.
So Ironbark will go to work. Oh, nice outside in. That is completely misread by Daryl Chu.
He had speed to burn and ran rings around that disc.
He kind of ran in the wrong direction almost. And this game is off to a flurry of action to begin. Upside down, hammer.
It's a lovely shot, Dan.
And now, venture away through the hands of Sun. McGillivray.
Oh, lucky to have that completed. Well, there's a
the worst of the top. So it's the meeting in the middle where the rubber hits the road, so to speak.
Yeah, it's sort of like being on the coast, you know, and you're on the beach. And
yeah.
the waves come in and the waves go out, and you're somewhere in there.
So this will decide who ends up in that that top 8. Ironbark with the opportunity to break into that 8, and Branch now with the opportunity to drop out of the 8. Which, talking with some of the Branch boys before the game, they're determined to be a Div 1 club.
Yeah.
The second Div 1 club in Sydney, obviously the first one being Sunder, which you're very familiar with as a player.
Yes, and we played them earlier in the day. They say, don't call us Branch, we are Branch Div 1. Right, so they're branded with Div 1. They really want to be there, but they sort of understand, they're also realistic and with their ambitions here. Yarn with a beautiful pull.
Musial puts that one deep down the field, and Ironbark now on offense through the hands of Mitch Hanna to Dougal. An inside throw. They get away with it through the hands of Rayside.
Moving it pretty well, Dan. Oh, as soon as I speak, that is a great catch.
And doesn't he know it too?
Yes.
You got to be happy with that low with the right hand.
Yeah, I actually thought that was down. I was about to yell bink, but that was a catch and a half.
Number 35, James Rayside. Bink. That's an old one. Tell us the rules of bink, John.
Rules of bink. You've got to get in there early. If you think a turnover's happening, call bink. Look at that, Dan. That was a great catch.
So if you manage to guess right, you call bink and it's turnover, what then?
Oh, you get a point.
Right. If you get it wrong?
You lose a point.
Right.
Yeah. And so the game's going. It's just a way it's a drinking game, really, on the sidelines.
No matter what happens, you take a drink, right?
Take a drink. That's true.
What happens if you score the most points?
Take a drink.
Yeah. What happens if you score the least points?
Take a drink anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think
drown your sorrows.
I think those at home are familiar now and are experts in the game of bink. You can join in the chat if you think a turnover's about to happen. Quick, type bink.
Type bink. Just before it happens, though. Make allowance for the internet.
Yeah, the lag, the latency.
You get the feel this is going to be a close game. Yeah. Geez, and doesn't Branch have the height? They've got the height on these guys, but
there's a lot of tall timber out there.
Yeah.
McGillivray goes all the way to the back of the end zone and has to play this from back there.
And the zone comes on.
What do you think that Ironbark are trying to do here by calling a zone, do you think?
Oh, they're testing the mettle of these handlers. Yeah, they're trying to get some see if these guys have actually can work it out of here. And if Branch can do that and work it out of this hole, they'll feel a lot better about themselves.
Ernie Chow is going to go with the lefty hammer.
Oh!
Pressure.
Just got that.
And now reaching down the field. Jamboy on the edge of the goal line. Looks to just flip this one in. Chow's going to get it again.
Clear's trying to dig a hole down there.
McGillivray. Looking. He's going to get it to Chow.
Classy handler, Ernie.
And
just to say that. Oh,
you've binked him.
I've binked him with a commentator curse. I've got to remember that. It's real.
Ian Watt will go and pick it up. Nice throw there to Chew. Moving it well, Ironbark. Timing is there at the moment, that's Lai. Looks to engage the reset.
Too much jinky jink on the dump.
Yeah, Matt Tam just going up the line. Lee expecting the cut back.
Yeah.
Ironbark will shift into a match defense. Ernie Chow.
What a saunter.
He's got swagger, doesn't he?
He's swagging to this disc. He's got a nice break. And it's sitting there for him, but he goes for the back.
Probably for the best. Posso with the outside in.
Wow. Impressive. He led that. It looked like a sketchy option, but he led these receiver quite nicely. Let's see this again.
Just the receiver just kind of drifting out the back. You see him in the right-hand side of the frame.
He's all alone. He's in a paddock. Yeah.
That's the wander cut.
Yeah.
He's just wandered off.
It's just, it's almost like snake in the grass where you just lie down and hope no one notices you.
Yeah.
They just lost him.
That's an old one, that one, snake in the grass.
Snake in the grass, that's
how do you play an effective snake in the grass, John?
Well, the best, so just for our listeners, snake in the grass is where every run, you're on defense. Everyone runs down on the pool except for one who hangs out and lies down in the field, and you're hoping that your team, the other team, doesn't notice. They put the disc up long, and you just stand up and get the D. It's most effective played at night, usually in leagues where people can't see as well, and they're not quite as aware.
Maybe the lighting on some league fields around the country is not too great. So.
That's right. Sometimes you can even hide behind a pole, you know. But yeah, one of my favourites.
That was the second point. Branch up 2-1 at the moment. The game's close, 10 minutes nearly gone.
We've got Lexi on the pool now. Not as big a yank as Jan did on the last pull. He's fast though, Lexi. I'd like to see him run deep on a couple.
Brunelli Brondex is going to reach for Mitch Hanna. Hanna is all the way out of bounds. Ooh. And he attempts the greatest. It does come back.
Wow. That was a very courageous play. I thought he was going to run into the fence there. Oh, he did run at the fence.
He's done so well as Hanna.
He's quite a receiver, but that disc was always getting pushed out by the wind.
There's Villas. Back to the middle. The Branch have to work against this Ironbark zone. Hammer over the top. In the area, though. That's Roscoe.
They went to the well one too many times there, Dan, on the hammers. They've been working for him.
Roscoe read it well out of the hand. Was quick to close it down. Rayside will reset to Dougal. And there's Hanna. The throw on the inside, a nice bid. Tan has it deep in the red zone. Nothing coming from down the field. He's not looking for a reset. He's got eyes only for the end zone. Villas and Weston coming together. And Alexi Villas is going to shoot a nice-looking flat backhand. Down the field it goes to Poveda. Poveda now in the red zone. He's going to call a timeout, John Greenfield.
Yeah, you know what I love though, Dan? You've got an isolated your receiver in the end zone, no one else around. It's a perfect time. Consider it like a dump cut, but a dump cut for a goal.
Do you agree with the timeout call here by Poveda?
Definitely not. However, you know what?
That's emphatic.
It's very emphatic. But the danger is your other teammates can run past that situation thinking, I have to be in the end zone. It's one of my pet hates. Ladies and gentlemen, after 28 years of playing this game, if you've got an isolated receiver in the end zone and your thrower is at the front of the end zone, stay back.
Stay out of the way.
You don't need to go in the end zone. Just let him go. Treat it like a dump cut. You'll never get a better opportunity to score a goal, and to isolate that player and to get open. You got the whole end zone. Unfortunately, what happens is there is something in the brain that says, I must get past the thrower and get into that end zone with them, just to clog it all up.
Yeah, naturally, as you cut past, your defender is also going to go with you and potentially fill up the space very quickly. So, John, you prefer that dynamic situation rather than a static one out of a timeout?
Very much so, especially in that situation. I'll give you an example of this. In the Masters Division, 2014, I was with Fat Chili. We were a semi-final against Canadian club Fig Jam. We'd already beaten them in the rounds, played them in the semi, should have beaten them. Didn't have a great game. An example of that, Tom Regacki has the disc down in the red zone. He's got Steve Whelans isolated in the end zone, just waiting for him to jink a couple of times. He gets open, Tom steps out, throws the flick. One of his own players ran through and it hit him in the calf, in the back of the calf. It just drives me mental.
Coach killer is what
Coach killer
is what they call those ones. And we did see Whelans, Wheelie as he's known affectionately, playing still.
Yeah.
He's was playing with Chile last weekend. We covered one of his games. And Fat Chili.
He's a classy athlete. Those sort of athletes...
You'd back him to get free 9 times out of 10, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and those natural athletes, so long as they stay fit, they'll always be,
a threat.
A threat.
Yeah.
Good players. And, I've got to say, Dan, that's one of the great things with the sport, You can keep going. As long as you keep your fitness up, you can keep going.
As you are living, breathing proof of that, John Greenfield, it doesn't seem like you've aged any time in the last 2 decades. Poveda on the end zone line, working against this zone for Ironbark, who have had the opportunity now to set up. And that's a gross one.
Oh, they've caught. All right. Wow.
It's disgusting.
It is. You spend all of that time in the huddle working out that D. Someone runs past and gets a 1 foot pass into the end zone.
You nearly handed it to him.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Players all around the disc, except in front of the thrower.
Well, they all count, John.
They do. Now let's have a look. There it is.
It doesn't matter how gross or how dirty it is.
Yep. And there's a bit of discussion. I think Ironbark were like, well, you can't do that.
Hang on a minute.
That's unfair.
That's not right.
Yeah. Oh, we're just saying it. Yeah, right. Yeah. No.
Alex O'Reilly.
Yeah, he thought we were talking about him. Yeah.
No, young man, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
You scored the point.
Yeah.
Don't let us old guys shame you into anything right now.
That's right.
So Branch take the first break of the game, 3-1. John, all day I've been talking about these time cap rules and how you've got to be close and you can't fall behind because there's no opportunity to come back. What was your experience playing under those rules?
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan. I do love the idea of having to score to win. I really do. I understand as a organiser, you want the games to keep rolling, continuing, and if it's a blowout, it's a blowout. I get it. But having been here in Gold Cup and come from behind twice to win double-point games, I'm kind of a fan of that.
Well, last weekend at the Southern Ultimate Championships, the Victorian Ultimate Championships, we saw a variation of this rule where if you were behind by more than a few points, you could elect to effectively cede the game, or you could choose to continue to play on.
Yeah, right.
Which I thought was an interesting way of approaching that. You know, if it's a blowout, let's just end the game and call it here. But, you know, if it's a few points and the team that's behind think they can come back, then they have the opportunity and the choice.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting conversation with your opposition.
Yeah, and Tam, fingertips past Ernie Chow.
We're watching Ironbark. This is some hard offense here. They're doing well.
Watt will go, he'll reach. It's a nice grab in the end zone. That's a very, very nice grab by Raiden Cheng.
That was very nice offense there from Ironbark. What a way to come back after, you know, getting down 3-1, getting broken. Very nice offense. We are not seeing Timmy G out there. He's captain, or erstwhile captain. I'm assuming he's injured.
Yeah, he is currently wearing a jersey over his Ironbark stuff. He does have his cleats on, and
yeah, we might get some inside info on that. I do know he had quite the clash at the last tournament takeoff with one of our own, Robbie Carlos, who's a giant of a man. And I saw a flood of memes on our on the iBeam chat coming in about that collision. So obviously it was noteworthy, and I wonder if that's actually what's caused Tim to be sitting out here. I'm not sure. We'll get the lowdown. Apparently Tim was not impressed with the contact, but
well, neither would I if a man who's 6'5", some 90-something kilos clobbered me. I would not be impressed either.
Yeah. Yeah,
I can see Tim G's argument in that example.
Yep.
This being a non-contact sport as well.
Yep, exactly.
Those guys do like to go at it a little bit, but there should be limits at some point.
All right, well, can Branch here return serve? They do have the advantage. The breeze is coming towards us, but it's also a little bit behind Branch here, so.
And here is Matthews Hunter.
Formerly of Fishwick.
Now plying his trade for this bench ultimate team.
Another zone, Dan.
Ironbark feeling that they've got something and they're onto something at the moment. Nice throw there. Through to Hosso. Hosso just wearing the contact and continuing to play on. And so Ben Dougal sends him back on a travel call.
Yeah. Just trying to regain his feet there. I feel that this handler core is a little bit too sharp for any kind of zone here, especially a little bit downwind.
Yeah. Hosso looks very comfortable and competent in this zone look at the moment. Here is Lee. And there's Posso in the corner. Just all the way straight down the sideline, John.
Yeah. Yep. They're just a little bit too sharp. There's quite a lot of experience there of Dave Kahn and Matthews Hunter. So not sure that's the right move. I'll be very surprised if we see Ironbark come out with that, especially from that end.
So I've got two questions for you then. What adjustments should they have made in that point really what should they have done differently to prevent that easy score just down the sideline? Okay. What do they need to do there?
Yeah, they need to flatten that the cup out. They're trying to do a sort of a classic sort of standard cup around.
So trying to trap the disc on this sideline.
Yeah, and what we've moved, in fact, if you watch a lot of the American teams now, they flatten out that front three. They still have a 3-3-1, but they'll flatten it out rather than trying to crowd around and prevent swings. You let that go. You just it's a bit like the Japanese sort of mentality.
Yeah, the soft zone.
It's the soft zone.
We'll let you make a mistake rather than us force one.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So talking more then about the Ironbark defensive strategy, what should they do? Should they stick to that zone and try and tweak it, or go back to a match, or use something else, do you think?
Well, I'm guessing they haven't played a flat 3-3-1, so I would suggest go to man and force towards the camera here, because you've just got to ramp this up. They got a nice bit of momentum early with that goal and a little bit of hype, and they need to ride that into their defence and bring a little bit of mongrel.
We see one of the champions of the bench club, young Musial.
Hey, Timmy, what's up, bro? What's going on? Yeah. Hamstring. All right, so take off injury, ladies and gents.
Yeah, we just found out that Goss.
We've seen a turnover.
No, we haven't.
Oh!
McGillivray.
Alex McGillivray, formerly of Newcastle I-beam, headed down to Sydney, and that is a fantastic D.
He has had to hustle there.
He said he's had to struggle. He struggled with his fitness during COVID, but boy, he put in some big ones there. I think he's looking pretty good.
So Riley scored that dirty one before. We'll get it into the middle to Musial. And now Branch go to work through the hands of Young, Musial, and Riley. Looks like Ironbark is sticking with his zone, John, but maybe playing a little bit flatter.
They are a bit flatter. This is interesting. I wonder if they've talked about this.
So Young has Musial there if he wants. Let's to go back to Riley, who breaks to Villas.
And Dan, this is not the same handler set that we saw on the offense. This is the beautiful throw from Jan.
Musial over the top to McGillivray.
Oh,
blocked by Arbage.
beauty!
Arbage getting off his feet. Matt Tan goes fast for Ironbark. Ben Allen is going to put it in the sky, and Riley will get it back.
That was the stars on 45. That was on the turntable, and he spun that record all the way, played it into the end zone.
Oh, that block, though, by Arbage.
Oh, yeah. And it won't Arbage be dirty on that, after seeing that bomb go into the end zone.
The bomb is probably the best way of describing it. It exploded in everyone's faces.
Yeah, it was an up and under.
So Riley, I was just about to say, you mentioned that this isn't the same handler set. It does look like they're struggling a little bit more.
Yes.
Or maybe I've just cursed myself here. As
yes. No,
they pierce through with that nice throw.
Yes. Oh, just as we speak.
I can't get it right at this stage. Tam. A nice catch by Arbage. Back to Tam. Doesn't want the under. We'll go back to Lee.
Well,
Casey lie.
There's a lot of fatigue out there at the moment, Dan. This point has seen a few turns. They are going hard, and they are fatigued. And in fact, we're seeing Villas come out of the handling set. I don't know what's he's doing there.
Alexi Villas is just kind of drifting towards the end zone on this near sideline. So Young and Musial. Musial goes through the wall with a nice throw. Riley with a monster hammer into the fence.
Hit the fence on the full. Got to make allowance for that wind coming at you.
Seems like the rain might be returning again. Get another time today. Oh, that's a high throw and a soft turnover. We'll give Branch the disc back deep in the red zone. Are you close enough for an isolation play, do you think, John, or need you just go to a standard offense?
Well, I don't think Ironbark are going to let them. Oh, they are isolating at the front there. Oh, well, you called it. You called it, Dan. Oh, yes. That was a bit too easy, wasn't it?
You want to see more pressure, don't you, from Ironbark? Closer defense, a more aggressive mark, what? Something.
Yeah, so it was a face mark. Let's see what happened here. Sort of face marking, but they're just giving. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and young up-and-comers of the sport, you're in that situation. You're not worried so much about the force. Where you're worried about is where are they going to score that goal. The best place they're going to score that goal is right into that corner, exactly where they threw it.
Yeah, it's the front cone, isn't it, normally?
Yep.
Eric Zhao with the reception there. Front cone being the dangerous spot in the end zone. And the isolation works out. come back to something that you mentioned just before, John, about fatigue and everyone being fatigued. As an experienced player, how do you say that you're young and you're just trying to figure it out, how do you deal with fatigue? And how do you get better at handling it? Is it just experience and age, or is there something that you can do to actually approach the game? And
well, get fit. But yeah, we took a youngster on who normally is in U-Beam. We got hit our Newcastle team by COVID and a few other things. So we brought in a Div 2 guy who's, Grayson is his name, and he's just he's going to be great. And he's got that mentality of, I'm just going to run, like Chile, like, Chris Hill.
So many kids from that I-Beam team that have just done that over the years.
We'll come back to this. We'll come back to it. Let's call the shots here.
As Dougal will pick it up. And Branch are going to play in a soft kind of man look as Nick Weston finds a pass through the middle to Brunelli Brondex. And that's a throw that will pop up. Roscoe gets hit and pops up. He's happy to play on. Quatas was the one with the block. Oh, Hannah! Can't get there.
So
Branch.
close.
That's Jamboy. Branch are off. They're away down the far side. Matthews Hunter will come back to Jamboy. Jamboy floats one out. Branch, they're getting close. Agote combines with Matthews Hunter, comes back to Quatas. Matthews Hunter pumps, gets what he wants and throws it through what seemed like 3 or 4 Ironbark defenders. Branch score their 6th, and Ironbark are struggling in this match.
Yes, and it's not much, Dan, is it? We're talking 1%ers, but the 1%ers are with Branch. And maybe this is the difference. They just have that extra experience and playing a little bit more against the better teams.
There is going to be a timeout call, so we can return to what you were saying about
Grayson,
getting fit
and getting fit. He's quite fit, but of course he hasn't learned when not to run. And and one of the things you learn with experience is when not to run.
Sometimes that's not by choice though. When you're getting on in the years, sometimes you can't run anymore.
That's right. So, there's definitely, and if you are that fatigued, you get yourself into a neutral position. You've got to get that neutral position. And you can actually then read the flow of the game. You can actually wait it out, read the flow, make sure you're not in a position where you have to cut, and then you can pop out, usually on the break side, for a very easy cut. And that's the best way to deal with fatigue when you're on offense. On D, you've got to go back shoulder. You've got to sit on the back shoulder, and you've got to give the under the less dangerous option. That's how you handle fatigue on D-line.
And on the screen at the moment is a bit of a time lapse of the setup this morning.
How cool.
Yeah, the GoPro on the fence, and you'll see me walking around, running tables and doing the odd jobs while Mike is the one setting up the pole cam.
Isn't Mikey looking distinguished these days?
The silver hair at the temples.
Oh, it's just what a man, and he's still right into his yoga. He's
Bikram yoga is the one of choice.
Yeah. So what time would this have been, Dan? This sort of setup.
So the first game was at 9, so we were setting up from roughly 7:45 this morning.
That's not too bad. You don't have to get here at 6.
The ULTI.TV technology has improved dramatically over the years, and speaking of that technology, it's all because of the support of those at home. And if you want to see us continue to grow and continue to cover more Ultimate, you need to be part of the ULTI.TV Patreon. Get on there, be a member, help us get out to these tournaments and cover these games.
Yes.
Without your support, we won't get there.
And even me, who's a bit of a Luddite when it comes to all things technology, I'm certainly a patron. I found it very easy. You just get on. You just got to get your. It's very cheap for what you get, and you get to have a say in these games, and you're supporting, this sort of live stream Ultimate, which is great. And I tell you what, during COVID and when we were locked down, geez, it was good to just get on ULTI.TV and just watch some Ultimate, you know, and just dream of being there, you know.
Yeah, getting back out there and maybe living vicariously a little bit through the archive streams, the many archive streams that we've collected over the last, well, a little bit over 10 years now that ULTI.TV has been running. It's been a great journey thus far, and we're looking forward to the future.
Yeah, I believe that I-Beam did quite well in that that first year in Adelaide in 2010.
It will live on forever. It is part of the legacy of Australian Ultimate, John, of course. I-Beam's inaugural, well, not inaugural, I would say it's its first title ever.
Yeah.
Hasn't got one since, but
no.
we'll keep that part a little bit quiet and just focus on the fact that, yes, I-Beam won a national title
and it was on film, you know,
it's on film,
and on YouTube, so
it will exist forever.
Exactly.
Musial to pull for Branch as we come back from the timeout. An outside in roller stopped by Matt Tam. Come to the middle to Watt. Through the hand, Tam look good as a handler. He's got good movement. Tam's going to break. Chow in the area, can't get there. Watt. Oh, there's just a run through D. Big mistake by Darren Chew.
Thought he had it, didn't he?
He stopped running.
He did. You got to keep run through those. And we're just seeing that little bit of inexperience.
So Dave Kahn. There is a pick call. Darren Chew getting hung up there on the...
I think that was a preemptive pick. I think he sort of saw the play coming and was trying to... Yeah.
This might be a little bit controversial and possibly against the rules, but I don't mind that calling it, you know, because it's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I'm a fan, yeah.
These picks can often be the hardest collisions that you'll experience, especially if you get blindsided. And now there's a hark. Chang is going to reach out a long way with the flick, but it's too far for Darren Chew.
And I think if there's one, we're seeing an experience from Ironbark, but and part of that is just their throwing. They are not dealing with the wind as well as Branch are.
Do you think that the play calling has a little bit to do with how that looks as well? With Branch mostly sticking with match, perhaps a little bit more pressure, whereas Ironbark are going with that zone, a little bit less pressure around the disc, like directly on the disc?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Now we're back with this, what I consider to be their top handlers here. So let's see how they handle this zone. Again, they're going with a trap zone here.
Lee to Cho. There's Khan. Back to Ernie Cho.
Look at Ernie's break.
Oh
no, it's popped up. Oh, why didn't he catch it then?
It's so close to the end zone. Watt will go fast through the hands of Tam to Lee. And there we go. Ironbark get the score that they've been looking for a little while now for 6-3 on the scoreboard.
It was a delayed spike there, wasn't it?
We need to be happy about this. Let me pick that up and spike it anyway.
Yeah, that's all right. Oh, Ernie, I was just talking him up and he pops one up. It is hard to control the head of the disc there to try and keep that down and yet not drill it into the ground at the same time.
So you're talking about the angle of attack on the disc, John?
Yeah.
How much that front edge is pointing up to the sky, and you're saying he had too much edge and that's why the wind took it up?
Unfortunately, you can't angle it down either because that thing is a break throw. You've got to get around your defender and you've got to actually have a little bit up to get it to your dump. But he just put a little bit too much on it. It's a tough one. Ernie's sort of in front of us here going through the throw right now. Andy Wood is is also going through it, and the analysis continues. Andy Wood with his cleats off. I'm not sure what's going on there. What happened, Andy? What's up, mate? All right, okay. You look ready for yoga, though. Yeah. Bust a few moves on the side there. Yeah, good.
So an overuse injury for Andy Wood. Sporting some fabulously painted toenails, actually, is Andy Wood.
Yeah.
I'll get your thoughts on that in a moment, John. They look absolutely fabulous. Riley. Ironbark. If nothing else, they are determined to make the zone work. Matthews Hunter. Riley. Matthews Hunter. We've got Ironbark players falling over left, right, and centre off the Matthews Hunter fakes.
Tripped over a blade of grass there, I think.
Gary,
it's just
trying to create something, pivoting like a madman, and it's Matthews Hunter that gets it out to McGillivray. McGillivray just hanging it out there a little bit, but works out. Riley maybe wanting the hammer. Goes with the shoddy scuba.
He just didn't put enough wrist on that one.
Adam Tan gives it the treatment. So Ben Dougal for Ironbark. Experienced. Tan is going to put one up in the air. They're in the area. Quatas is huge. It looks to be a call.
Let's see. Here we go. We're on the replay. He's pushing into the receiver there. Yeah, I think that's probably fair enough.
Brunelli Brondex, the Ironbark receiver, involved in the play. Hannah also in the frame. You see Hannah, 2 hands facing up, meaning I have an opinion on this.
Yes. And you can see him kind of, he wants to move over, but unfortunately the receiver is already there. You can't just barge your way into the space that you want to be in.
So the players will have to sort this out. This is also, we see this commonly. It's a common difference between the American interpretation of the rules and the Australian interpretation, don't we?
We do.
Where the Americans are much more happy with contact like there, where there's a bit of friction between two players as they attempt to make a bid for the disc. And whereas in Australia, it seems to be more black and white. There's no contact anytime at all, ever.
Yeah, if you have to make contact to get to the disc, in Australia, that's a foul.
Tan will get another shot at it. Brunelli Brondex gets the reset to Nick Weston. To Tan. Tan will now go to the end zone. There's Rocho.
Maybe a bit of justice there, Dan.
Maybe. They do say that the disc never lies.
Yeah. And wasn't he open on that? Again, they're not that front cone. They're not protecting the front cone. Let's have a look. Yeah, his defender got behind.
Matthews Hunter just getting lost a little bit as Rocho heads towards the break side and then cuts around the long way.
It was, what did you want to see there, Alex? Oh, no, it was a foul. Yeah, he pushed into the space. Yeah.
So McGillivray just checking up on his teammate. Just, hey, tell me the goss here, lads. Let me just potentially set one of the boys up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
yeah. Nearly 40 minutes gone in this game. We are over halfway in terms of time. We're not quite at half in terms of score.
And it's good to see Ironbark hanging in there. You know, they're having to really scrap for their goals. I do think they've just pushed this trap zone too much. Why don't they just bust out? Let's see. Will they bust out into a man? Because, you know, Dave Kahn, Matthews Hunter, they're happy to sit back. He'll put a zone on them. Hey, thank you. We will work this, and we're quite comfortable doing that. A bit of hard, mongrel D match might be a different story. Because I think what Ironbark might lack in that experience of 1%ers, they probably have in a little bit of enthusiasm, and speed. That is a good pull.
Effortless by Tam. Has driven that a long way into the bench end zone. Musial kind of gestures, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And Ironbark will stick with his zone still. But the bench offense is now trapped against this line. A long throw over the top, kind of left with nothing.
It works.
So they're going to go fast now. Cheng gets it on the way. And a throw that's going to pop up in the air. Chu is in the area. Contact between several players. There's bodies on the ground.
And there's a foul called by the receiver.
Looks like Raiden Cheng is...
Let's have a look. I don't think there was much in that.
This is where we return to the question of interpretation and
Yes.
Australian versus American interpretations. American interpretation is more, were you even going to get it? And
It was actually a D by the branch player. Was that Yarn there getting a D? That was just a collision of a meeting of three bodies.
both Mitch Hanna and Ernie Chow on the other sideline offering a perspective. And it seems like Hanna and Cho are actually agreeing and offering the same perspective, John, even though they're on opposite teams.
Yeah, well, that's good to see. Timmy G's in there, you know, just making sure that that's all clear, because I think they're arguing. I think that there was no foul there, but
I think it looks like Raiden Chang is. Well, Raiden Chang has the disc right now.
okay, all right. So it may be uncontested here. It is. It's uncontested. Wow. Big call in the context of this game. He had the open player there, Dan. Oh, jeez.
And Watt in the corner.
Oh. So
We saw a gross one from Branch earlier, and well, Ironbark have maybe got one back of their own. Another.
What's this? What's
sneaky
this?
one.
He'll have an open player on the on the cone. Should he hit that? Decides not to, and then throws a no-look backhand across his body, across the mark for the goal.
And that leads us into a timeout. Branch have just dropped the last 3 points in a row.
Yeah, and they're probably in there talking about. You could see Yarn there a little bit frustrated that he wasn't getting where were the options here, and he knew that he was sort of on Coffin Corner. You know, he was in the neighbourhood of Coffin Corner there, and really they wanted to get that disc up on the high side of the field.
So, but not so much Coffin Corner, but maybe Mortuary Lane.
Yeah, that's right. He was in the vicinity. You know,
He was around the corner from the Undertakers.
you can check out, but you can never leave. But
what's the adjustment then that Branch needs to make here?
Well, look, you know, just realise, boys, that patience. You're going to get there. Yes. And I think if we think back, what have we seen the turnovers? Ernie's little pop-up and then Yarn trying to get one through. They were both tough options, but they've got to back themselves that they can get around this zone and then come up the high side and keep it there.
The high side obviously being the side of the field that the wind is coming from. We talk about the high side, the low side. We talk about the strong side, the weak side. We talk about the open side, the break side.
Yeah.
And it's all just different ways of saying the right-hand side and the left-hand side of the field.
That's
they all
right.
have different interpretations, though. And
We do.
What makes the high side the high side?
And the high side is where you are basically on the upwind side of the field, so that you.
And it opens up more throws, doesn't it?
It does.
Being upwind.
Yeah.
So you can put it in the air a little bit if you need to go high. Hammers from that high side of the field, they tend to fly a little bit better when they're going downwind.
Exactly.
Hammers upwind, tough gig.
Yeah, any throw upwind is because it's slower. You know, you'll get more velocity on your downwind throws, so they'll go quicker. You have more confidence with them. So, yeah, look, I don't think Branch need to worry too much. They've just got to back themselves, get around that zone, get to the high side. Because now I think Ironbark are like, we're on it, you know. The zone's finally working for us.
I was going to say, we're sitting here disparaging the zone the entire time, and yet it's off the back of that Ironbark have fought their way back into the game.
That's right, yeah.
The irony.
The irony.
Liam Brunelli Brundex with the disc at the moment. Our congratulations to Brunelli Brundex, recently married.
Ah.
It's lovely. We saw his wife earlier today.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
She was playing on the stream, and
yeah,
when I was gathering in the names, obviously it's a...
Who's she play for?
It's a great question, John, and I'm glad you asked me.
Another Sydney team, I
Yeah,
assume.
another Sydney team. So
Rogue or...
Anna Brunelli Brundex, she is now known, playing for NSU Aurora, so the northern suburbs team.
Great stuff. Love a good love story. Now, trap zone's back on, Dan.
It's happening. Cho. We go to Matthews Hunter. Hunter with a great throw through to Alexi Villas to Pavita. Matthews Hunter. A nice swing back to the middle of the field. Cho. Matthews Hunter. It's through the zone again goes Matthews Hunter. That is the one way to break the zone. You either go around it, over it, or through it. Matthews Hunter finding no problems at the moment. Like a hot knife through butter. Matthews Hunter is going to throw another dirty one. Paveda just lurking at the front of the end zone. It's not respected by Ironbark, so that is a much needed score for Branch.
The mojo's back. You know, they just needed that timeout, and it probably worked. They just said, hey, you know, let's calm down. We can work this. We did earlier. And they did a great job. And it was also, of course, Ironbark. They were coming from the other end of the field, so they were working against the wind, not with. Or
John, makes an idea pop into my head. A podcast that we could probably do, mate, and spend a couple of hours just talking about the science of timeouts, yes. When to call them, when not to call them, why to call them.
Yes.
In this case, the timeout has worked very nicely for Branch.
I think it has, you know, and I think the best, if we can start this conversation, the best use of a timeout is to break momentum. You know, it's to change the momentum, and because timing is everything, you know.
So why is it then that a timeout that only lasts for a few minutes can break momentum in a sport that naturally has a lot of breaks where, you know, there's 2 minutes between each pull? Why does that work?
Yeah, and it's a curious thing, and if we would be a rich man if we actually knew. My sneaking suspicion is that the team that had the momentum then gets too comfortable. The team that didn't have the momentum, you know, digs in.
Well, Tam has had a good game so far. It looks like Branch are going to come with their zone of their own. And sometimes, as we often see, it does enough to get a turn. Riley in the middle of the field. Musial will provide the super dump. Back to Riley. Riley has a look. There's the reset there to Young. It's not. Has to go down the field to Posso. Posso looking for Riley. Posso's going to break. That's a score to Branch. They take half a break, John, to end the first half.
Wow. I feel bad for Ironbark because they were just looking good. And yet again, we saw a little bit of a breeze pick up and that swing pass just catch the bottom edge.
It's funny how that happens. There was no real pressure on the zone coming down out of Branch, but it did enough. Just that different defensive look, and it threw off the throw, popping up in the air, and the turnover is the result.
And that can happen too. If you haven't seen a look, especially a poachy or a zony look, you haven't adjusted. You know, your receivers have set up downfield. They're not ready to dig out of a zone. So, yeah, I think based on 8-5, probably a good reflection of the game so far.
Well, we're going to go to some replays here, take a quick break, get a drink of water. We'll be back with the second half of this seeding match between Branch from the Bench Ultimate Club and Ironbark, also out of Sydney. We'll be back very shortly.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund our
work
work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Hey? No, I don't know. It's all good.
Just me fanboying over John
No,
Greenfield.
No, yeah, no, it's all good.
As far as embarrassing things to say as
It's fine.
So we're watching the replay here. Matthews Hunter has been creating some interesting throws.
Yeah, he loves going through the cup.
Yeah. So we return to live action now with Dougal. There's Mitch Hannah. Hannah is going to rip one.
Tough across the stack like that.
It is, and it's Deed. Agote goes to Young, back to Agote. Huatas trying to get in there. Young will go around the edge. It's a nice throw. Branch with some good flow at the moment. Falls out of the side into the hands of the broad shoulders of Paveda. Paveda gets the reset to Huatas. Agote, the Colombian connection. Young. Agote looking is to Young. Huatas again pivots through. The bid by Roscho. Not enough.
You'd say a late bid, but why not? You know, it wasn't dangerous, and it just may have put the receiver off. Let's have a look at this again. Such a shame once more for Ironbark. They're back on their zone, and this is, I would not say the top handling line for Branch. Yes, probably not even in the peripheral vision of the receiver there. But hey, you know, we need to see more of that from Ironbark. A bit more mongrel on D. I would love to see them just come out. You know, just like we were saying, Dan, you know, where Ironbark got surprised by the zone, you could see Branch sort of put off by a man look. You know, they're just expecting the zone every time now.
Joe Sutton catching the goal for Branch. There's a lot of value in the wrinkled defensive change, just for 1 point.
Yeah.
Just to see if they do something silly like throw it away, they misread something, they throw it into the defender. A lot of value in that.
Yep. And I must say the last couple of seasons we've seen a lot more sort of help sets, they call them these days, sort of junky looks.
That are based upon match defense predominantly, but playing some sort of bracket, someone playing the under space, someone playing the deep, working together to cover the receivers.
Yes, exactly right. And as a handler, I can tell you it's like a puzzle you've got to solve each time, and it's actually quite taxing mentally, you know, rather than physically. You've really got to watch the poachers.
Ernie Cho will give it a nice rip. And Watt will pick it up. Wearing the snood. Tam. Nice throw there to Chew. Back to Watt. And it's Match across the field now. Watt again, driving the offense. Chew. Nice throw. And then to space, the layout.
Lovely catch.
Raiden Cheng. Nice play by him.
Isn't it great to see a clean offensive set there from Ironbark?
Really on the back of Ian Watt. Drove the offense down the field.
He did. He's got that wearing a, I don't know, what is it, a bandana? Looks like he might have a
snood.
Broken jaw. It's a snood.
That's
right.
what they call it,
It's a
isn't
snood. Yeah.
Snoods became the rage there for
They were.
a very big rage.
Yeah.
Good sun protection though.
Yeah, except it ain't sunny. But maybe it's helping you stay warm. I'm not sure. Hey, whatever works for you, right? I've always thought it weird. In America, they play a lot of the time with their pants on, not shorts. They're in their track pants. And I've never understood that. Then, of course, the hoodie came in, and players wear a hoodie underneath their shirts, and that fashion seems to have been picked up in Australia a little bit. Never understood that one either.
Well, I understand it when you play tournaments in places like Bathurst.
Well,
you can understand when the mercury hits about 0.
Yes.
You'll put anything underneath that shirt just to keep a little bit of extra warmth in.
Yeah, Dan, I agree with that one. What do we got here? I can't see the D.
Well, it is more zone, and McGillivray decides not to go to Quasas. Instead, throws it to Musial. And Musial gets it through to Quasas there. Ooh! And then to McGillivray, who rises and is going to throw it to the end zone. That's a goal. Branch have this zone figured out at the moment. It's 10-6.
Yeah. It was just a bit too easy. It's too easy. They've gone with their sort of pommy, we would call that, cup. A very nice throw from McGillivray. He's always had very powerful throws. The touch is somewhat lacking back in the day, but he nailed that one, and he's had a very good game today.
Well, that is something I'd like to get your opinion on as a coach. I teach power because I tell them that they can learn touch and precision later. You think that that's a good strategy for young people coming into the game?
No. No, look, I think that the key is a spin. A lot of the younger players, they try to throw. They try and throw the disc, especially if they're trying to throw it further. They'll try and put more arm into it. When, as you and I both know, it's that wrist control at the end of that motion, which is the key, and that same wrist motion will give you the touch as well. But look, it is natural that every young player will start off and they'll want to know how to throw big, and I think some of the best throwers have actually had some part in their life where they've gone off and played disc golf or done something else to learn those skills.
Well, I have a theory, John. I'll tell you in the next break about throwing ability. Agote with a big pull to Watt, who
what a throw.
Has spot Arbaj. Arbaj is going to find Tam.
He wanted that backhand, didn't he?
He did, and Tam is going to reach for Raiden Cheng. Cheng.
Oh, well done.
He is coming into this game at the moment. Raiden Cheng is playing better and better. He has been a shining star for Ironbark.
He's finding space.
Well, he just went. And then Tam is really a powerful thrower.
Back of the end zone. Well, that was very nice. He controlled the edge enough, and the wind just did pick up, but we've seen quite a few of those Ironbark throws turn too much edge to the wind.
So my theory on
let's hear this.
So my theory on throwing ability, it's proportional to time spent injured.
Yeah, I can.
Many a receiver who perhaps not the best thrower, but certainly a very good athlete, gets injured, goes away, and they spend 6 months, 9 months on the sideline.
That combines with my theory, which is that every really good receiver actually wants to be a thrower, you know. But and maybe it does coincide with some time spent off the field, yeah. Well, look, it happened to me. I used to be a defensive receiver, did my ACL, had to come back, couldn't run, got to throw.
The leaping toilet brush
Yes.
is what they used to call you, John Greenfield.
Yeah. Then I got my hair cut and they called me the scrubber.
The short bristles. The pull is good, and Matthews Hunter has to catch high above his head. Riley in the middle of the field is going to work against this Ironbark zone that they have just stuck with great tenacity.
Oh, jeez, did he mean to throw that?
It's dropped into Riley's lap, and a hammer over the top to Villas.
Good patience from Villas.
Matthews Hunter.
Close bid.
McGillivray. They're working through the hands, and there's a block.
Well
It's
done.
Rayside.
Now what happened there?
He
Player's gone down with a hamstring, I think.
Rayside he got the block and pulled up lame.
Yeah, it's looking like, I don't think it's a cramp or anything like that. I think he's
Might be
It's
out
on
for a
that.
few weeks.
yeah.
He's shaking his head, rubbing the hamstring. It's not a good feeling when the hamstring goes.
And you know
And
straight away.
Yeah,
don't
and
you?
it's much like that, isn't it? The
Yeah.
hamstring goes, and you're like, well,
That's it.
I can't run anymore.
I think right now he's thinking, Nationals, can I get back?
Now with
But
still
he's
a few weeks left till Nationals,
Yeah.
the challenge will be on for James Rayside to make the return. Disc is tapped in. Tim G instantly calling Raiden Cheng onto the field, and here he is. Cheng over McGillivray.
Oh.
Huge contest. Looks like both boys are going to wave it off.
Let's
What a
see this
contest.
again. I thought he had great position here. Oh, he ran past it almost.
Almost needed to woo up there, go early, and almost hang on McGillivray a little bit to make the play. Riley fakes, and he's just going to throw the block. Adam Tan has been threatening on that near sideline point.
He's been waiting for that, hasn't he? Just there it is. Great bid.
Excellent stuff by Tan. So,
Can they punch this in? Very important moment right here in the game.
So Ben Dougal is going to engage the reset to Mitch Hanna. There's Tan again. Cheng working against Alexi Villas in space, can't get it. Dougal. Ironbark very narrow at the moment. There's a reset. Brunelli Brondex. Hanna in the corner.
Wow.
So Ironbark have fought their way back in it. It's 10-8 now.
Yeah. And they gave up the front cone again, Dan. Let's have a look. So I think it's Matthews Hunter. He's in good position here, but then he lets his man get behind him. And very hard to stop from there. So it's just a little bit of pre-positioning that he needed to work hard to get in good position there.
And pre-positioning is important on defense, isn't it? Because, well, what happens if you're out of position?
Yeah, you will get burnt, you know, and it's another thing. If we talk about, again, your development as a player, and often when you're younger, you're faster, and you feel like, well, you bait a little bit more. Well, I can run this. I'm faster than this old fart. You know, I can run him down. But it doesn't matter. You just can't make up the ground, especially at the level these guys are playing at. So your positioning has always to be to take out the biggest threat. And right there, the biggest threat was that front cone.
And often when playing defense, you've got to go early rather than later. Close that gap before the disc is in the air and then back off. Not do it the other way over, go slow and then build into it and accelerate. it has to be almost backwards to what you would do on offense.
Yeah.
Which is rather fitting, and it'll be Tan to throw this one for Ironbark. Tan has looked good with disc in hand today. Another good pull. Musial gets it on the ground, and that's Lee. Gets it to Khan. Fakes the hammer, trying to work the Ironbark zone. Lee, a little bit Japanese in that style, John.
Yeah.
2 hands on the disc.
I love it. I love it.
Musial with Cho.
Oh, there's Ernie with that throw again. He controlled the disc, the face of the disc there much better. Come on, Ernie.
Cho.
There it is again. No, fakes it.
Well, the left-handed rangy break. Hard to stop on the mark. And right now, bench really struggling a little bit. Musial gets involved, and Khan.
Wow.
Dropped a sitter. Ricky
Yeah.
Ponting would not be impressed with that kind of performance. And Tan to pick it up for Ironbark. Lee goes to the break side. Tan is just going to try and reset it. He looks off the break. He looks off the reset. There's Watt. Watt with a sneaky high release to Cash.
Wait. There's an injury. I
like
think this one might be a cramp. Let's have a look here.
Chu awkwardly behind him, trying to reach the disc, and he's on the ground, signaling that he's injured.
Poor Chook. I hope it is just a cramp. Let's have a look.
So injuries, when they happen, the injured player comes off, John?
Yes, they have to come off unless it was a foul and they are able to recover. They can stay on the field, but you should, if you've called an injury and there's no foul, you should be leaving the field. And of course, the other team has the opportunity to also swap a player out if they like.
So Musial walks to the disc, and it's Lee and Cho back in the handler set for Branch. Oh, that throw to Quatas. Gets to Paveda through Khan. Dave Khan looking to break. Musial looks so calm, and it's a low throw that's picked up by Jamboy. Several of the Ironbark players just signaling up, saying that that's good, let's play on. Cho throws the righty to Musial. The bids, all the bids. And quickly, Ironbark want to play on. Tam. So the reset now. Ben Allen. Tam, a huge bid by Dave Khan.
Carney realises the importance of this point right here.
And an important point it is. Watt goes around to Brunelli Brundex. There's Lai. And it's coughed up by Allen. Musial goes with the lefty to Quatas. Paveda. Paveda almost started to run a little bit there. Cho. Musial, they're stretching the zone laterally now. Paveda goes to Jamboy. There's Cho back in the middle. Musial. Looks like he's down the park on a Sunday afternoon watching the Dogs play. He could not be more casual at the moment as Khan breaks through, trying to get it back to Musial. Musial goes to Quatas. There's a player free out the back to Cho. Branch, all they have to do is just keep tossing it around. They'll get there. It's a matter of patience. Cho. Paveda, there it is.
Wow.
Quatas with the score. Branch needed that one. We hit time cap, 11-8. That looks like it'll be the game. It snuck up on us, John.
It has, and wasn't, I mean, we've just seen the point of the match, really. And Ironbark had their chance, and they did play really well. They had some fantastic defense. And you know what? It wasn't a bad shot into the end zone. It just got a little bit of edge, and that's probably the story of the match. Ironbark just unable to control the edge into the wind.
You said earlier and commented about the ability of the players to control the disc in the air. So you may have noticed that the players are lining up on the field, John. We've got a game to 12.
That's good to see. Good to see. I like to see them fight for this, and we'll see if they. So, have I got this right? They'll actually, if Ironbark score this, Branch will have to win it. Okay, that's good. I'm very happy with that. Dave Kahn, he knows he's done well. He's getting the high fives off the guys. You know, yeah, that was me out there. Yeah. He knew there was a bit of his personality coming into that last point. That was the point of the match, no doubt about it.
So Alexi Villas with the disc. Alexi is it's been a bit of time. Well known actually for playing for a lot of the Western New South Wales teams.
Yeah.
Going out there and helping out.
And Slamtown, of course.
Slamtown, of course. Dougal. Brunelli Brondex. Dougal. There's a throw around to Banganay. Bangers, as they call him with the disc. A little bit of the dying swan.
Yes, I love the dying swan.
Tell us about the dying swan, John.
The dying swan is where you don't have options. You may not be the best thrower, and you're looking for anyone from your team to make something of a cut so you can get rid of the disc. And you end up turning in circles and getting lower and lower until...
Just sinking in the water.
Yeah.
Adam Tan. We go to Brunelli Brondex. And the inside throw, ill-advised. Garrick Lai.
They've gone back to the zone.
Well, it's on the zone now. Young will pick it up and go to... That's Agote out there. A nice looking hammer over the top. Curtis Lai has both Villas and Agote. Goes to Agote, to Young. And they're off to Posso. Posso, Agote, back to Posso. Has a player free in the back if he wants it. The scuba over the top. He has to do a lot.
Oh.
Posso, head in hands.
That was for the game right there.
And the no-look scuba is the option that he takes.
Yes.
The audacity.
Again, with a face to the wind there.
So Bet Dougal brings it in, goes to Tan. The bid, not quite there. Banganay gets open. Tan doesn't go to him. Ross Show. Hannah. Big bid by Posso. Tan. Roscho. There's an injury call on the field. Nick Weston has it at the moment. It's like Posso.
Posso's, I figure, cramp again. It's the last game of the day.
He went down like someone shot him. Sniper in the trees, probably not. Cramp, most likely. Oh yeah, walking with the toe up.
Yeah.
That's the cramp walk.
That's a cramp walk.
So Paveda,
and
one broad shoulder Colombian for the next.
Yeah.
Paveda will replace the cramping Posso.
Get some pickle juice into him. Pickle juice. Yeah.
Pickle juice is the remedy prescribed by Dr. John Greenfield. As Weston. Weston to Brunelli Brondex. He's looking. Can't find it. Dougal tries to get up the line. The push pass. It goes back the other way by Young.
Very
Getting
nice
a point
hands.
clock late in the game.
This is it. Can they punch it in here? They've gone back to the zone. It's a trap zone.
And it's Agote to pick it up for Branch. Straight
Jeez.
through the middle. Villas to Paveda. Paveda pivots to open up the throw back to Villas, who thinks for a moment. Instead goes to Young. Villas pumping, trying to work the zone. Young gets up in the cup. And with a throw through the legs goes Young. Branch are on the doorstep, deep in the red zone. Young is feeling it at the moment. Agate. Throw it to Young. Here he is. Have to wonder, is he just going to get that rush of blood and maybe throw it away? Agate.
Right now, this zone is effective.
It's just holding up this bench offense. There's the reset. Tumbling. Curtis Lai does get it to Agate. He slowly makes his way back to his feet. The big hammer to the near side. It's completed. Eric Zhao to Paveda. Paveda wants something. They're all out on their feet at the moment. The cuts have slowed down in pace. Agate points. And then he's going to throw the hammer to Alexi Villas. We're done here. 12-8 is going to be the final score. Branch take it over Ironbark. Oh,
the patience here, and you're right, these guys were out on their feet here. And they should know, they should have expected the hammer. They really should have. That was a nice way to finish.
I think Agate was done. He wants to go home for a bath.
Yeah. That was a really enjoyable game.
Very, very enjoyable game. As we see on the far field, Manly v Fishwick unit still playing. Looks like the score is 14-12 maybe over there. Yeah. So we're just going to sit here and keep calling it. That's Eng with the pull.
What a pull. That has gone to the heaven.
The Manly, 2 tough games. Pastors gets himself a block on Hannah Monty, who's playing over there with the Fishwick B team.
Yeah, yep. And of course, Mish Phelps playing with the A team.
So it is 14-12. I did see that from all the way over here. There's nothing wrong with my eyes. And Butler will go with the big backhand, heading towards Calder. Calder, it gets deed though.
This is just a shootout, isn't it?
You get the sense that maybe the horse has got its head here, and the young players from both teams just ready to swing and belt each other until one of them falls over.
Yeah, that's right. And how's the support here on the sideline from Manly? Flags flying, men's and women's teams in support. It's a very good scene in Manly. It's a lot of very good work done by a lot of the organisers. You know, I'm thinking Nikki Shires and Dave O'Brien, Di Warman. I'm sure there's others that I'm probably missing.
They're saying in the next few years we'll see some absolute young guns come out through the Manly youth scene, which is burgeoning at the moment. Fishwick.
Oh.
Monty just in front of Pastors, and Monty's going to huck it. Calder's in the area.
Well, Monty never shy to put one up, and it was a good option. But the defence was good. Again, we're seeing the shootout style of we're just going to jack this and trust our receivers. But there's good receivers on both these teams.
Reminds me of Rocky, one of the Rocky movies, where they're just belting each other.
Yeah, no defence.
The technique has kind of gone out the window a few rounds ago, so let's see who falls over first.
Yeah.
Butler. A good game that we watched earlier between Manly and Crank. Crank running out winners in that game.
Tight, was it?
Yeah, Crank look the goods at the moment.
Mm. And they're missing 6-7 of their top line.
So with more strength to come, you'd figure that Crank are going to really get into, well, Pastors is all kinds of free.
How I sort of missed how he got so open, but the Manly players and supporters, they're coming onto the field. There's somersaults.
Barrel rolls all over the shop. I think.
What happened here? He did a snake in the grass.
It was Monty's matchup, and Monty got caught near the disc somehow, and Pastors has gone for the wander cut. Just wandered out the back and Scored himself a goal.
A walkabout. Well,
so that would make it 14-13 over there. In naturally a game to 15.
oh, this is, we've come in the right time here, Dan. Yeah, one of the, I guess, problems for the Manly scene is that they develop these good young players and they go off to play Sunday and they're unable to crack into the Div 1. And this year you're probably seeing the best chance they've had in a while of trying to crack into the Div 1. They dusted off Pete Gardner and had him out there. He was playing really well, but I believe he injured his thumb in a bizarre hitchhiking injury.
That sounds like a hell of a story. Pete Gardner, the garden hose.
The garden hose, indeed.
So at the moment then, if this is 14-13, that means Manly's behind in this game, and that is to maintain their Division 1 spot over there. Fishwick unit have jumped this Manly squad and are currently doing their best to mug them. Manly, tough situation to be. The pressure has to be immense.
They have to just keep scoring here, they know it. And now look, the Ironbark and Branch players coming over to add to the atmosphere of this one. It's the final show in town, and it's a close one. So
all the other games ending halfway through this time slot. This time slot was an adjusted time slot for this men's seeding match. This almost a pre-quarter.
And do we think then that they changed the rules and made them with a hard cap with a +1 rather than just dying on the soft cap?
I think that it seems like, I'd imagine that the rules are universal across the edge of the tournament, but because there's no following games, I think probably the teams might have just agreed that we'll just add one to the highest score and play to that, and wherever we end, we end.
Yeah, and don't you love that about Ultimate, that you can do that? You know, it's still...
Yeah, the tournament organisers would rarely overturn a result like that.
No,
when it's agreed, when it's agreed between the two teams and it's reasonable, like there's no games following. You know, the light is still good. There's no real reason to end this game now, as we see the Manly ready as they shuffle on the spot. Great replay.
All right. Well, the band, the atmosphere building to this point. The Manly supporters trying to get their boys up.
At the moment, there seems to be a coach or staff of Fishwick on the field still. It's been a long time between points. When you're in a situation like this, do you prefer would you want to be going quick, or do you want to slow it down as much as you can, do you think?
Well, it's been a bit extreme. I think Fishwick have done well to hold this up, because again, Manly had the momentum. All right, that's a good pull, Dan.
The Hollander over there playing for Fishwick unit.
Man with the biggest arms in Ultimate.
He is a unit. And now, the Hollander. Go down a massive bid by Calder. He seems to be something special. The Hollander again.
There's some good young athletes on show out there.
Fishwick working down the field. They've got the opportunity to take this game. It would be an upset on paper. The throw to the Hollander. And that's it. Manly, heartbreak for them. Fishwick, elation as they sneak into the top 8.
What a great last point, and you can see what this means to the Fishwick club as their Div 1 buddies come to congratulate them. It was a well-constructed point, you'd have to say, Dan.
Well, John Greenfield, thank you very much for joining me for this coverage of this last game here from the New South Wales Ultimate Championships. Any closing thoughts, my friend?
It's been a great day. They had to change this tournament location very late, so the organisers, huge kudos to them, and we're seeing a great ultimate on show.
Wonderful. Well, on behalf of myself, Daniel Clanton, and John Greenfield, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll be back. We'll be covering the last day here from the New South Wales Ultimate Championships for 2022. We'll see you then.
ULTI.TV.